It's always a good time when we make it halfway through the week. We're going to break down the Wednesday slate. WinDailySports.com, we got your projection models. We have your optimizer articles every single day of the week. Golf is right around the corner. If you missed the PGA DraftKings show, make sure you lock in, man. These guys have been hot with their bets, first round leader, outright matchups, course breakdowns, DFS, and big shout out to Spencer. Hooked me up with a nice lineup on Sunday. Been hot all week with MLB, man. It's a big tournament coming around the corner on DraftKings that I'm prepping for. So, got to get hot when the summer's around and these big tournaments in MLB. It's all we really have, man. No more NBA. Big shout out to the Warriors for taking it down. But, Adam, Wednesday night, every day, every night, you're here to break down pitchers, man. And looks like a tough little slate. And it looks like we have some gifts as well. So, I'm not going to tell you who I'm looking at. I got two guys penciled into my DraftKings lineup already. If you say the same two that I got, I'll be really happy because Tuesday was shitty.
Yeah, Tuesday was a minefield.
Yeah, Strider and Cortez. Cortez, I was worried about a little bit because he's been shaky after coming out of nowhere. Strider, I knew it was hot in Atlanta, and I had a lot of Atlanta stacks, so I was a little bit worried there as well. But there were some landmines, and let's avoid them. And maybe we avoid them up top, down low. You tell me where you're going first, man. Then I'll tell you who I like.
So, it's funny because, we have the segment, it's Ace of the Slate. And I think me and Tony have talked about this, but for whatever reason, whenever me and you were on, there's always somebody up top that I really like, and I'm behind. When it's me and Tony, since I think we get more of the weekends, it's, it tends to be somebody that's a bit lower priced. And I think that's the case tonight because when you say Ace of the Slate, it doesn't always mean most expensive guy. That means who am I hitching my wagon to and who's going to be the guy that is in the majority of my lineups. And at least as we're sitting here today, before the slate, before we're really building, I think it's Shohei Ohtani. Because the top end of this pitching slate, man, does it look rough. It is not enjoyable.
You're 1 for 1. Let's see if you can go 2 for 2. Who's the second guy I got penciled in right now?
Are you penciling in somebody expensive or somebody cheap? Give me at least that in.
There's no cheating, man. Make a pick, man. You're 1 for 1. You can get some X's in there. Let's see who you got.
I think the other guy's going to be George Kirby.
Yes, sir.
There
Lock him in.
Right,
we haven't talked about it. Nothing was even – Ohtani was easy, man. He's 8,500 going against Kansas City. He could definitely suck. Ohtani's had some bad games this season, but at 8,500, I think he's safe for 20, 15, 20, pretty safe. K upside, obviously, he can break 30.
Yeah.
And then I love Kirby when he falls into the zone, man. Anytime Kirby falls into a $6,000 zone and he gets Oakland, sign me up. Look, in his last 5 starts, low 9.1 against Boston, one of the hottest hitting teams in the MLB right now. High of 29.9 against Baltimore. And he faced Oakland, about 3 weeks ago. He got 16.5. I'm down with any of those numbers. On this type of slate, I'm down. I don't want to really pitch, Skubal versus Boston.
No.
Do I really want to pitch
Rodon
versus San Fran? Not really. Do I want to go Rodon against Atlanta? Not really. Lauer versus St. Louis? No, I don't. I don't want to go there either. So, and then you got McKenzie and Gray going against each other. These guys don't really, Gray's been pissing me off. I've been getting him on these K props, and he kind of comes out early. McKenzie's safer, but he's going against Minnesota, a better hitting team. So the other guy that I was going to ask you about, because I know you're on top of these starters, and it's scary, but this dude Baz, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this guy's last name right. Tampa Bay, he was a stud. He's a top prospect, but he's going against the Yankees, man. Thoughts there on Baz and anybody else in the mix here?
So I'm going to back up just for a second and, kind of talk about Ohtani. And the good thing with him is, yes, he does have some inconsistencies, but the weak spot against him up until really this year have been the left side of the plate. Even that, man, he's gotten mostly in line. Like, the WOBA is over 310, but the BABIP is 329. The K rate's still over 30%. XFIP is only 2.90. Ohtani's really got the lefties much more under control than he has at any other point. And you talked about that start for George Kirby. The funny thing is, so he scores 16. He gives up 8 hits. And if you look at his xFIP from that start, it was 0.99. You could argue that metrics-wise, it was probably his best start of his career. So I'm definitely on board again. I don't think he's going to give up another 8 hits, another 4 runs there. You're flirting with 20. As far as Baz goes, this whole slate is just a really wild pitching slate. It's going to be a difficult one to really predict. I think he might be the biggest wild card on the slate. So he only has 21.2 regular season innings in his career. It's just not a big sample. But when you're looking at what he does against the right side, which is what you want against these Yankees, it's a 201 WOBA. The average is under 120. The K rate is over 36%. Like, on the surface, this is the exact kind of pitcher that if I'm going to go against the Yankees, this is who I want. I want somebody that can handle the right side, and I want somebody that has a strikeout upside that Baz is going to bring. He's probably only going to be at about 80 pitches. That's not ideal, but at 80 pitches, he can strike out 8 through 5 or 6 scoreless innings like he did against Baltimore. I know Baltimore's not the Yankees offense, but if his splits even remotely hold up against the right side as they have so far in his career, I mean, if you got 22 from an 8K pitcher, you're going to be pretty excited.
Yeah, the 80 pitch count is one of the question marks I wanted to come to you with. If he's at 80, he's got to be near flawless against a very, tough hitting team. So that takes me off him a little bit. And his counterpart, I know Cortez got hit by Tampa, for the home run ball. And pretty much every single ball that was hit was like to the fence that didn't go out. So he just didn't have his stuff. Now, with Montgomery at 7,400, interesting. He's been pretty damn consistent as of late, too. 5 starts, averaging over 16 in those 5 starts. He just went out there against Toronto, pitched 6 innings, 5 Ks. He's been getting 4 or 5 Ks pretty much every start. So I think Montgomery's playable. And I don't even want to say this guy's name. And I know you're going to yell at me for it, but if you want to take a flyer, maybe some Waka. It's still Detroit. Detroit doesn't really worry me too much. I think Waka is a guy you can throw out there if you can't get up to Montgomery or you can't get up to Baz or, you don't want to play Kirby, which I would definitely lock in Kirby 1,000 times over. Just in case Kirby has a bad start, I think Walker in 150 lineups, he's definitely playable. He won't make my first 5 or 6 lineups, but he's definitely playable. Anybody else that we haven't named that you might want to throw a dart at?
Probably not really. I do think Walk is a good call, especially if Kirby or Jordan Montgomery is chalky, which I tend to think one of them is going to be, if not maybe even both.
Both, yeah.
Walker could be a nice kind of pivot off both those guys because, like, Montgomery just hasn't shown that strikeout upside. Yeah, he's getting 4 to 5 every start, but he's not getting more than that. He hasn't been over 5 in the past 10. Kirby, we know he's a young guy, doesn't have a lot of innings at any level. Yeah, it's Oakland, but that's still not like he's not the kind of pitcher where any matchup is a gimme yet. Yes, the upside is certainly there, and I'm really excited for him. That doesn't mean he can't, go out and get rocked. It's certainly possible. And if Waka doesn't, you could be sitting pretty.
Yeah, if you're making one lineup, I say you lock Kirby and Ohtani. You don't really think twice. The fact that I came in, those are the only 2 guys I penciled in, and Adam guessed right, and he liked it. And he's super confident because he's feeling good about his Pirates, man. This Pirates have awakened.
Let's go.
They've awakened, and they might breathe some life into you before your real team, the Steelers, come into town and football starts again. Because I know you're looking good out there. The team is coming around, but your boy Chase Claypool has got to just close his damn mouth, man.
He needs to be quiet.
Yeah, bro, it's like
you're an idiot. You catch the balls first, okay?
You're an idiot on the field. You're an idiot off the field, and now it's like not even in season. You're calling yourself a top 3 wide receiver. Like you're probably not even a top 3 wide receiver on your team. Like,
I get if you're playing receiver in the NFL, you have to have wild confidence. That's fine. I get it. Sometimes discretion's the better part of valor, and you should just be quiet.
Yeah. Oh, let's like you proved yourself. Like if you really are, like Devontae Adams, and then you could go talk all you want, man.
Not even a top 3 team in your division. Maybe.
Not even a top 3 wide receiver on your team. Like at times, you don't even want to play this dude. But back to baseball, man. We laid out the pitches for you. Stacks. It's crazy how like 2 weeks will change the entire outlook of a DFS lineup. But are your Pittsburgh Pirates going to be like the most popular stack
I don't know if
Going
they'll be crazy. I mean, O'Neal Cruz is going to be popular again. I think he was pushing like almost 50% on GPP last night.
DraftKings, they move quick, man. They moved them
Oh
from
yeah,
2,000 to 2,700, man. So
2,700.
yeah, they
Really,
really
really,
moved. They
really
moved up
breaking the
on
banks.
him. And wait, Sawinski still 2,200. He just averages like 10 to 15 points a game. Had 3 home runs in one game, 11 home runs on the season. Yeah, let's keep
Big,
him at 2,200. Free
yeah,
square. Go for it.
Big Dan's only 2,700. He's motoring along there at first base. I mean, this is a very, very affordable team. Bly Matters hit his first home run of his career. He's still only 3,600.
You know what
Super
pissed me
affordable
off?
team.
You know what pissed me off on Tuesday? My first 2 players in were Sawinski and Cruz. And then I liked a couple other $2,000 players. I kept on making lineups that had legitimately my favorite stack, which were either the Braves or the Cardinals. And I had some Astros as well. Every single lineup had like 2,000, 3,000 left
Yep.
over. And I just couldn't click Caesar's button. Like I was there so many times, like, nah, I really want Contreras or Strider. And it just
Yep.
shit happens. But look, these guys are free squares. They're mashing the ball too. Like they're really hitting it, and they get Chicago. So I think you can keep on playing Sawinski, obviously Cruz. Now
I think
Cruz
the
is
game
no
stack
longer
itself,
outfield eligible, so that might
that's
change
fine.
a little bit.
I
But
mean, I don't know about you, but I've been playing him at shortstop more often, the first 2 games anyways, because it's easier to find an outfield value than it is at shortstop, and
yeah, I've been
especially
bouncing
one that brings
around.
that upside.
Yeah, I've been bouncing around. Like on Tuesday, Edmund was only shortstop eligible. I like the Cardinals stack, so I
Yeah.
had to play him in the outfield in a couple lineups. But like, if you play Kirby and Otani just for shits and giggles with Vogelbach, Cruz, and Sawinski, you have an average for your other 5 spots of 54.60.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing an all-star team
Yeah,
outside of
so
that.
you get you lock up Trout. Um, Now Acuna is going against Rodon. JD Martinez going against Scooble. Buxton against McKenzie. Like you can get all these guys and Judge against Boz. Like I think you go maybe Juan Soto at
Yeah.
5,300 in the outfield against, he's got the easier matchup, against Wells, I believe. Third base, you can go Jose Ramirez against Sonny Gray, or you can go Arenado versus Lauer. Are you fading, these Atlanta bets? Like while we're talking about stacks here, are you fading Atlanta backs against Rodon? Super hot, probably
Not really.
again.
No, not
Not
really.
really,
I
right?
mean, listen, it's obviously a riskier stack because Rodon is talented, but like the Braves are in the top 3 of every offensive category we look at against lefties. They just destroy them. And yeah, they're missing Ozzy Albies, but they really haven't skipped a beat very much so far. And you as a Mets fan certainly knows that. And like Rodon has had issues at certain points through this year. Yeah, he's hot
Uh,
and he's hit 30 in his last 2. But again, he got the Pirates at the exact right time before they called people up. Okay, the 30 DK against the Dodgers is impressive, but you look and you got 12, 17, 4. St. Louis, who's another really, really good lefty hitting team, crushed him for -8. That kind of an
so
outcome is on the table for Rodon tonight.
what do you think about this lineup, real quick? I'm gonna roll this for $15. I'm already gonna send it in. Basically, Kirby Otani with the 3-man mini. This is not a stack. It was just a fun lineup. I'm like, let me see what happens. Vogelbach, O'Neal Cruz, and Sawinski. And then I get my choice of the 5K guys. I get Sal Perez catching. I got Luis Ariz at second base, Jose Ramirez at third base, and then Trout and Soto in the outfield. Seems
That's
pretty solid to me. Nice little cash
pretty,
game lineup, maybe.
pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I have any punts, even at pitchers. Like I feel like I have the
No.
2 best pitchers. Well, let's roll this lineup out. Favorite stacks though, if you had to just nail down, like rate your top 3 stacks. I know Pittsburgh's fun, they're cheap, they just make everything work so easily. But if you had to rate some other stacks as complete 5-man stacks, where you at?
I mean, I really do like the Cub stack on the other side of this. We're starting Jared Eichhoff. The last time we saw him in the majors, 595 WOBA to the left side, xFIP over 5 to each side of the plate. Contreras, Hap, Morel, pretty much the entire top half of the Chicago Cubs lineup is in play here. Because once you
So
get past Eichhoff, you start getting into the Pirates bullpen, which is still a weak spot as well.
let me ask you more of a strategy question here, and it also comes down to this slate itself. Looking at ownership when we get, throughout the day, hop on our expert chat at windailysports.com. I put out the ownership projections. If you don't have access to our lineup optimizer or projection model, I'll go ahead and do that in our expert chat. Really easy to get in there. Just click the Discord button on windailysports.com. But if we were smart enough to stack San Fran, I was smart enough to stack Atlanta, but I like Strider. One of these pitchers up top are probably not going to have a great game. They're going to be owned with Rodon, Lauer, Morton, Skubal. Now let's even throw in Sonny Gray and McKenzie and Baz, and let's throw in Montgomery too. I don't even want to go to Ohtani. I want him to be clean. But all these
If
rest of the
Ohtani
guys,
gets hit tomorrow, I'm in trouble. I'm going to tell you that
yeah,
right now.
yeah. So I don't want to talk about that. Let's stay positive on him. But all these other guys, which one of these would you like to stack against? Is it Atlanta bats against Rodon, St. Louis bats against Lauer, San Fran again against Morton,
It's
Boston versus Skubal? Which
as
one is
long
it?
as long as Paul Goldschmidt's back in the lineup at St. Louis for me. Eric Lauer's kind of turning back into Eric Lauer that we've known for so long. He's a fine pitcher, but he's not what he was putting out there in that first, month to 6 weeks of the season. The Cardinals are again one of the best lefty hitting lineups in baseball.
Yep.
Goldschmidt sat with a back issue yesterday, so I really do want to make sure he's in. If he's out, I still like some of the bats, but it wouldn't be a full stack at that point. And then that's when I would probably turn to the Braves and just get some of these right-handed hitters. Swanson, Acuna, Riley, William Contreras, Ozuna, Art Darno, whoever's in that lineup from the right side, I'm very interested in because Rodon he throws the fastball so much, and that's another part of his issue. Like Atlanta's the best fastball hitting team in the league right now. It's really not a good matchup on paper for him.
Yeah, and when you factor in the heat, it was hot on Tuesday. It's probably gonna be hot, Wednesday night as well. You add that in, man. The ball carries when it's hotter outside. Atlanta could be hot and humid, most likely again. So definitely factor that in. I gotta ask you one last question, man. We cover props over Win Daily Sports. Dave does a great job with it. You do a great job with it. What's your thoughts? They're not up yet, but George Kirby, what do you think his K prop is going to be after, a couple down games here, let's call it?
They'll probably put it at 4.5 and put some big juice on it. I bet he's like 4.5 for like minus 150, which hopefully through the day that kind of rolls to the 5.5 and at least gets me to even or like plus 105 or something.
Somehow the sportsbook are crazy enough to put it back to 3.5 where we saw it earlier this season. I'm betting the house
I
on
mean,
it.
you might need a second mortgage for that one.
Yeah, if they do that, man, even 4.5 sounds sexy enough, but 3.5 because he's been a little shaky, man. So I don't know. There's a possibility because the last start 6Ks, 4Ks, 3Ks. Last time out against Oakland, no, he had 9Ks. So that is a potential reason why they probably have him back up. 4.5 is probably the number. I can see 5.5 as well. So make sure you check us out at windailysports.com to check out our props. We put them in our Discord. Adam puts a core group of guys that he likes for FanDuel, DraftKings, and Yahoo in our expert chat. If you're not in this expert chat, you're definitely missing out. You got to go to our projection models on Win Daily Sports, our lineup optimizer. Read all the articles. We've been crushing it in golf, too. If you haven't played golf DFS or bet golf DFS, we've hit some outrights. We hit some first-round leaders. And we've been cashing a lot of tournament lineups as well. So make sure you lock in with that. And, again, we'll be back tomorrow breaking down the Thursday day slate. A lot of good baseball to be had. And, Adam, man, I just want to say congratulations, man. You have a professional baseball team back in Pittsburgh, man. This team is actually – they were a team that I was pitching against every single day, and now I want to stack them every single day. So shout out to you, man. That lineup looks legit, and you look like you got some studs now for the future.
Yeah, they're not going to be good yet, but at least they're fun to watch finally. And that's, I
Yeah.
mean, if we're going to be bad, at least give me some people to watch, and it looks like that might finally have happened.
There you go, man. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. Everybody have a good Wednesday. Make some money, and let's turn your love of sports into a profit center.